Myself, I'm a mother of a child living with disabilities. I'm a mother of a special child. My second son is a special child. I went through rejection um, when my son was young. I think I weathered the storms, and I got to a point where I said, okay, this is what I've gone through, Esther. What can I do to change the world around me? What can I do to make the world a better place for my son and for the other children who have similar conditions? Remember, when my son was young, it was really, really challenging.
Hello everyone. Thank you again for joining us. Today I have brought another phenomenal lady. Her name is Esther Mwendwa. Esther Mwendwa is a Kenyan origin. Esther is an entrepreneur, a CEO of Marketplace, and she's also a founder of Avid Network and Connector. Esther is a founder of WEZA, which is an NGO that supports children with disabilities. Esther has a long line of things that she has initiated and really working on. So she's such an inspirational woman that I couldn't think twice really to bring her to this show. She's got so much to share. She's an amazing lady, and I believe she's got so much to offer, really, in terms of inspiring and uplifting other women out there. So, Esther, welcome on Inspire.
Oh, thank you, Martha. And I'm really honored. I'm grateful that for the invite to be on Inspire. And I look forward to just engaging more with you. I really, really appreciate. And as Emertha said, my name is Esther Mwendwa. I am a married mother of three young adults. My first son is 26 years old. My second son is 21 years old, and I have 15-year-old. Yes, and I am an entrepreneur in the marketplace. I'm a connector. I'm a door opener. Yes, women, we are all around. So yes, I've got quite a bit on my plate. Thank you.
Esther, it sounds like you're wearing so many hats. You are a founder of different organizations. You have initiated so much, and you're a mother, which is also another job that people tend to ignore. So tell me how you manage really to juggle in between. First of all, who is Esther's growing up? How did you grow up, developing that passion and and the ability to do what you're doing at the moment? Maybe take us a little bit back, how you started to be the strong woman that you are today.
Oh, great. My journey has been really interesting. Brought up I am a Kenyan first, and brought up in a part of Kenya that is called Machakos. I was born to a housewife. My mom was a housewife. My father was a businessman. Is so rest in peace. My mom is still surviving. She's 87 years old, a strong woman, hardworking woman. And I believe this is where I learned that and where I picked, because for her, hard work was, it was part of our vocabulary. You do not lazy around when you're around my mother. So we grew up in the village, working. We were privileged. My parents were well off, and went to schools in my primary school in Machakos. From Machakos, I actually, after my primary school, I went to boarding school, and then onto a different life away from the village. But all I can say is that we were brought up. We had workers, but we worked. We worked. We all had duties. I am born into a family of 12, and I am the last born, one mother, one father. So our parents were really strong. My mom is a strong woman. She got 12 of us, and she's still strong, going very strong at 87 years old, and still doing stuff for herself. So I learned hard work through my parents.
Excellent, excellent. So you learned hard work through your parents, especially through your mom. And
Yes,
big up to all mothers, really. Big up to all mothers, raising
yes,
strong women, raising problem solvers. It's really amazing to hear that the best role model was your mom and still is.
yes.
Yeah, you have so many things that you really have initiated, and most of the things that we start, really there should be a purpose. So how did you discover your purpose of existing? Because I believe we are all sent here for a mission,
Mm.
for a purpose, for something to accomplish, definitely. So having what you are doing, which you actually are going to tell us a bit, because I summarized, but maybe people would like to know what is AVD, what does it know, what does it do, everything, which I'm going to take you later. But tell me about discovering the purpose, why Esther is here on earth, and also that passion of following not one thing but different really things, and juggling and manage to put everything in the right place.
Oh, thank you. For me, my guiding principle is I say you become the change that you want to see. And
I love that.
yes, I am in the fashion industry. Fashion is part of me. I love fashion. I love shopping. I love seeing people looking smart, people dressed well. Actually, back when I was still young, because I started business when I was 24 years old. And I always appreciate when people look smart, presentable, because when you're smart and presentable, there's something about your self-esteem. You're able to express yourself more. So I'm an image consultant. I help executives to just get understand their image. How do they need to dress up? How do they need to present themselves? How do you behave? Generally, let me say etiquette.
Excellent.
And fashion is part of my purpose, because I have dressed quite a bit of people, and I believe when we work, we are expressing that which is in us. So that which is in Esther is expressed through our work. The other thing that I'm doing that you also mentioned is that I run an organization that supports children and young adults living with disabilities. It's called Jiweza. G stands for God, and Weza, it's a Kiswahili word meaning able.
Able.
So God is able, and they are also able to do that which we can do, or that which they are, they have been created to do. Some can do something, some may not, because disabilities really range from a wide spectrum of disabilities. A child could be blind, another one could have cerebral palsy, and they are not able to move, or they are not able to, to use their limbs. But at the end of the day, they are human beings created in the image of God like us, and they deserve to be to live a life of dignity just like us. So that's part of the things that I am doing. I think what I can do is like just run through just the different organizations and maybe businesses that I have founded. So I am the founder of Delvis Exclusive. It's a modern occasion wear fashion house in Kenya. So we target the events. So we are more on the social events, from gala dinners to award ceremonies to weddings. So dressing you when you're stepping out for that important occasion, or that occasion that you need to stand out. So that's what we do at Delvis Exclusive. It's both men and women occasion wear. And I'm also, sorry?
No, go ahead, go ahead.
Yes, yes. So that is Delvis Exclusive, which has been in existence for the last 15 years. And I'm also the founder the founder and executive director of Jiweza, which I mentioned that we target the children and young adults living with disabilities. That one I will talk a little bit more about it later. And I'm also a director with Johari Foundation. We focus at rehabilitating the facilities for children living with disabilities, buying medication for them. And when I talk about disabilities, is maybe in their schools, because most of the schools you find, if it's government owned, they are run down. If it's people who are trying to, to come up with institutions. It's not easy. So that's where we come in to support. We raise funds and we support in that. And I'm also the founder and executive director of Essie's products. And Essie's Flavors is actually a food production company. We do value addition on some of the products that we have in Africa. So we are talking about foods like, I'll give an example. We have something like tamarind that grows in the world. It just grows naturally. And so we have things like tamarind sauce, we have tamarind juice, we have the baobab, which is very common in the coastal areas of the Eastern Africa coast. And we also do value addition on this. We have baobab juice. Baobab is one of the super fruits in the planet, which is not talked about, but yet we realize that as Africans, we've got to talk about what we have in our planet and what we can offer in our countries and what we can offer to the world. So we have the baobab. If you come from Africa, I'm sure you must have heard about the baobab. It's the biggest tree, I believe, in the universe. Yes, and I'm also the CEO of Woman Globe Women. It's an organization that we empower women holistically, from empowering women financially. We run what we call table bankings. That in Africa, most of the women are marginalized. They do not own land. In my country, statistics show that only 20% of the women own land. So, the rest of 80%, they do not own land. So if they are not able to access finances or any services to do with things like loans from the banks, because they need a collateral. So what we do with table banking, we bring groups of women together, and that way they become each other's guarantors, and they are able to borrow and invest their money. We also do mentorship for women. We are now we are offering scholarships from a university that we are partnered with in Sweden called the European Business University to women in business in Kenya. So that's it's in a nutshell what I am doing. And thank you very much, Emertha, for the opportunity just to share with the world what we are doing here in Kenya. Thank you.
Excellent, excellent. So you started when you are 24 years old?
That's when I started business. The first business that I had, we had a gym. That was very young. When I look at my children now, I wonder, and I'm like, I was very young, and I believe, I think I was a bit, I used to take risks when I was younger than now, and with all the energy.
So what was that first business that you started with at that age?
Oh, I was running a fitness club. So a gym doing with aerobics and weightlifting and sauna and steam. And I'm saying, looking back, I must say, yes, I did not realize that I was a go-getter. Right now is when I can look back when at my age where I am and say, really, yes, Esther, you are a go-getter.
From running a gym, you started the fashion industry?
Yes.
Or you combined it?
No. The first business, when you are running a business and you are young, you make the mistakes and then you correct them as you move on. So, of course, the first business, there was the ups and downs or learning how to do business and all that. So I had it for 5 years. And after, my overheads were too much, I closed and I moved into the fashion industry. And I've been in the fashion industry, something that I love from my heart for the last 15 years.
So what made you feel that fashion industry was really meant for you and you never quit since?
I love dressing myself. I love fashion myself. I can shop the whole day and not get tired. And I remember even when I would get pocket money, like let's say $10, you call it $10 now in Kenya money, I would go to the second-hand market and really look for beautiful blouses, and people would keep asking me, where do you buy your clothes? And they'll think I buy from these high-end stores. But I would go to the market and I'll be able to pick something very good. And I think it's, for me, what I can say about fashion, it's something inborn. It's a gift.
Yes.
It's a gift. So when I go shopping, somehow I'm able to pick good pieces that people appreciate. And I can say I've only been able to survive in the market because there's acceptance of the products that I offer.
So, yeah, but is that what makes you unique? I mean, like how you sell yourself, you make yourself a brand. What makes you that unique and that everybody want to come to your business to get their clothes made and everything? So is that the only thing that makes you so unique? What else so special that you do? Because some people have opened the same businesses and closed. I mean, countless, so many people. But what makes you that so special? What makes your brand so unique?
I think what I can say is the consistency and offering quality products. You know, if you have a quality product or quality service, then at the end of the day, people will know if I need something quality, long lasting, I will go to this place and I'll be able to get it. So for me, it's been quality. And I've met clients that some of them I don't know, maybe they meet my staff. And when I just end up meeting them, they are surprised. They're like, oh, you are the name behind that, because I think I'm one of those people who work behind the scenes, you know, who don't get to be seen a lot, or the brand is known, but unfortunately, you don't get to know who is the person behind the brand. So for me, anytime when I'm shopping, I pick that which I can wear. So I have my clients at heart. So what I'm giving them is what I can use. Yes.
Amazing, amazing. So, again, you are the founder of WEZA, which supports and help the children who are with disabilities. So, how did this, come up? This organization, what really inspired you to start?
Okay. In Africa, there is really the stigma of living with disabilities, or you know, you are termed as it's like a curse, it's like a taboo. Myself, I'm a mother of a child living with disabilities. You know, I'm a mother of a special child. My second son is a special child. I went through rejection when my son was young. I think I weathered the storms. And I got to a point where I said, okay, this is what I've gone through, Esther. What can I do to change the world around me? What can I do to make the world a better place for my son and for the other children who have similar conditions? Remember, when my son was young, it was really, really challenging. And special schools are very expensive in my country, the private ones. The public, you just have a couple of them, very few. The medication was also expensive. His diet, my son is off lactose and gluten. So the diet was expensive. When he was young, would go to church. I am a Christian. I am a born-again believer, would go to church. And I would end up staying in the car for like most of the time, because we'd get in church and it becomes restless. And when it becomes less restless, you know, it meant I'm out in the car. As much as I really wanted to be part of the congregation, as much as I wanted to be in that church, I was not able to sit through the church. I would go and sit in the car. And I didn't want to leave my son at home. Again, also going to social, you know, like birthday parties, or just visiting, or just going for functions in the countryside. It just used to be a challenge. And so I asked myself, because in my country, you just see videos of what is happening to children who are living with disabilities or special children. Actually, in my country, they are used as begging baits. If you come to the streets, you find them in the streets just being wheeled with wheelchairs. At times, it's very hot. And you feel for these children.
Sorry, I cut you short. You find them being like used to, they use
to
them
beg.
as to collect
Yes.
money. So they exploit them
Yes.
literally.
It's
With the
very
accessibility,
common,
they still use. Okay.
very common in my country. Actually, in the city, if you drive along the streets of Nairobi, you will see that. And it's unfortunate that there are people who will use them to beg. You know, they are just innocent. They deserve a better life, just like any of us. So first, just being in this place where I want to be out and just in social places with my son, and it was really a challenge. So we founded the Jiweza organization, and I reached out to the church where we fellowship. I reached out to our senior pastor called Pastor Gibson. So I asked him if we could be given a space to start what we call the sensory rooms. So what we are doing with Jiweza, we do sensory rooms also in recreational facilities, places where these children can be taken care of, and can also, it's a place of play where, you know, in a safe environment for them, and in an environment that they are comfortable with. So when I approached them, they gave us space, and we worked on the space, we fitted whatever needed to be fitted. So in Jiweza, we also train the caregivers. So we run trainings for caregivers in terms of just how to handle the special children because they come in different disabilities and all that. And actually, where we started one of these sensory rooms back in 2018, we have seen children being brought from home on wheelchairs. Others cannot be able to sit, but then this parent gets the opportunity to come and sit through a service. Out of the frustration that Esther went through, she was not able to sit through a service. There's another parent right now who is able to come to church with their child and sit through the service. This, in Jiweza, our plan is to open up in the social amenities. So it's become expensive, and this one we have done it from our pockets, not got any funding so far. So we can only do, the much that we can only do is what we can afford. So once we get a room somewhere, we equip it, and we just put like bean bags, toy that is friendly to these children. And children that are being kept in houses right now are being brought out, and the parents are able to step out and feel like part of the community. And that is my burden, to see the children being brought out, and also the parents being, finding a space where they can share and they can be vulnerable with each other, and they can share on their journey of lives, because it's not easy in Africa to be a mother or a father of a child with special needs. It's not easy at all. Part of the rejection starts from the family unit. It will not start from strangers.
Yeah, sorry, I got to cut you short on this one. Yeah, Esther, you went through this. You had this child, which actually, you couldn't attend services. You couldn't do most of the things that you had to do because you had this child that needed your support and your presence. And obviously, facing that rejection in the community. But you thought above and beyond yourself, you had to consider other mothers, other parents who could be facing the same situation. And through this problem that you had to go through, other people actually found a solution. But why do you think people in our communities would see this as a taboo and reject someone actually who didn't cause this child to be born with these health conditions, but really you find someone having that courage, talk negative things about that parent, that mother, especially they always accuse mothers, whoever they might accuse, but you find that having a disabled child is a problem, which is the reason maybe some people even hide their children. They don't let them be seen because I remember some years ago a family that I knew had a child who was disabled, and they never allowed that child to play with us. We knew they had a disabled child, but that child for some reason was never allowed to play with us when we were little. So tell me, why do you think people have to think that way really in our African communities?
I think what I can say, it's first, it's lack of exposure and acceptance, because I believe when we talk about it and when we bring these children out and speak about it, then it changes the whole the whole story of stigma. If we look at something like HIV in Africa, the people who got HIV those days when HIV was really a stigma, they were really stigmatized. But there are people who stepped out and spoke about it, and it became better. You know, people are accepted. You are like, yes, it's a disease. Someone can live with it. So here we have disabilities. It's a condition. Someone can live with it. And I keep saying, what I say is that these children or the people living with disabilities, they are not the problem. The problem is us, the society, because we are the ones who will look at them and judge. And of course, when my son was young, people would ask me, what is he suffering from? What is this? And, you know, it kind of used to get very uncomfortable because he was not sick.
So you had to be answering all the time. All the time you had to have something to say about it, like given questions that you had no answer to.
Yeah, you know, you are you are put in the spot and you kind of feel like you have to keep explaining to people what is going on. You know, it's like if someone meets with you, you know, we are all different. There are people who are tall, others are short, others are plump, others are slender. And it's like when you have to meet with people, you have to explain maybe why you're fat or why you are slender or why you are tall or why you are short. So it kind of really gets uncomfortable. And actually, when people, especially when people look at it like a curse or a taboo, then this is what forces these parents to keep their children at home. I thank God I had the, you know, he gave me the strength to step out and just know, yes, this is a gift from God. Is, you know, is handsome, is a young man. I love my son. Is really, is full of life. So for just having that strength to stand up and just to speak about it, and regardless of, I lost a lot of friends when my son was young. I mean, you know, would go to a place, he would throw a tantrum, is not able to, you can't sit through dinner or lunch. But I look at the young man now, very, very composed. It's been a journey. And we end up learning a lot of things. And what happens about purpose, it's not about us, it's about other people. So there are things that will happen in our lives so that God can use them for the people around us. And I believe it happened to me. It wasn't for myself, it was for others. Yeah, and just the strength to be able to go through that. So I believe the more we talk about it, and of course we do something about it, then even the society will change how they look at these children. Yes.
You mentioned that you lost a lot of friends when your child was little.
Yes.
Why? What happened?
Because, you know, a lot of people don't understand. So for one, they will associate it with witchcraft. They will say, you have witchcraft, you have sacrificed your child. And those, I can say it wasn't as, you know, right now I can talk about it and smile. Those days I used to cry. I used to cry. It was not easy at all. But somehow God gives you the strength. And those stories were talked. I would be called, I would be told, and it would just break my heart. So right now, anytime when I meet with a mother who has a young child, I know what it means, because there's the part of acceptance. You have to accept and you have to do the best for your child. I have met women who have been left by their husbands because they gave birth to a child who is not like the rest. And of course, the men will say, kwetu, you know, that's a Kiswahili word. I almost spoke Kiswahili. They will say, where we come from, we do not have these cases. So at the end of the day, it's like the woman's problem. And I have met those women. I have worked with those women. It is not easy. But every time when they look at me and I am speaking about it, they are like, Esther, if you made it, I can make it. So I step in as an encourager, just to let them know that there's nothing they have done wrong. They just received a gift from God.
Wow. Esther, you know what? I'm so proud of you. I'm so much you know proud of what you're doing. So amazing. Really going above and beyond the circumstances that would actually put you down. Having a disabled child probably would keep you a housewife forever and maybe struggling and vulnerable. But you managed to rise above that situation. So now, how many children are you supporting within WEZA?
Oh, actually, in a part of the sensory rooms that we have at least 20, and we also have a parents forum that brings children, you know, the parents of these children together, and they are able to get support where they need support. We also are supporting a different center. So it's all the children are not with us because we haven't got to that point where we have the finances to be able to stay with the children. So for us is working on the recreational facilities and also supporting the other organizations that that are working with special needs. So there is also a different organization that we also support, and they have at least 30 young adults living with disabilities. And when I speak about young adults, it's from the age of 12 years all the way to 20, 24 years. So we are working with different organizations, though at the same at the end of the day, our goal right now is to have the recreational facility. If it's the shopping malls, we have a place for these children to play. We have, a special place for the children, the special needs children. When my son was young, he loved being on the bouncing castle, and children would jump on him. So at the end of the day, when we get home, he has a limp, he's feeling pain somewhere, but he just wants to enjoy play like any other child. So we don't have anything that is specifically meant for these children where they can be able to play and just, enjoy life like children and just the stages that children go through. So at the end of the day, that's my desire, to see more sensory rooms opened up in the cities, even in the villages, where even they can have occupational therapy. Some of them, those who have like cerebral palsy, they stay at home. So just training therapists and seeing them just being accommodated in these places where they can actually do things like occupational therapy to the children, just to make their life bearable.
Yes, yes. So if someone is listening to us or watching us now and wants to help, how can what do you think? What is the major things that you need to be really done? What do you think is needed in terms of help for you to help these children really?
Okay. My desire is to start a vocational training school, because a lot of these young adults, once they get to a certain age, they are past the school. Some of them will have them in my country, in schools that special needs or integrated schools. And once they pass the school going age, that's it. You either find them wandering around in the streets with nothing to do, or begging. And yet some of these children, there is so much that they can do. They can do beadwork, they can make mats, they can do carpentry. Some of them are very good with beauty. We can run a salon. So my desire is to see these young adults and children integrated in the society. If you go to the developed countries, and I am sure you are in the UK, if you go to the US, these children, they work. You find them in the supermarket and just doing that which they can be able to do. So my desire is to see them accommodated in the society, being able to work like any of us, and at the end of the day, instead of them being a burden to their family, then they are able to earn from the projects that we run. Right now, we have projects for mothers of the children. We give them work to work in part of our companies, and they are able to earn an income, especially the food production. So that way, when they get this income, they are able to buy medication for their children. It's a way of empowering them. So you're not just giving them the medication, you are giving them work, and they are able to buy that medication. We have a group of women that just wash clothes per day, and per day washing clothes, you get that is $20. Actually, not $20 per day. That's like $2. And this woman needs to buy food. This woman needs to buy medication. Medication is like $1 medication for a day. So tell me, does this woman buy the medication or buy the food? It is a problem. So my desire is to see, a vocational training school for the young adults and a center for the children living with disabilities, where we can take care of them, provide for them food, provide for the mothers' jobs. We have a lot of women, and I have a group of 25 women. They have been left by their husbands. They do not have husbands, but yet they take care of their children in turns. They get like two of them take care of the children, and the rest go to work.
Wait a sec. So 25 women left by their husbands because their children were disabled.
Yes, but they've come together and started a group. So this group, one day they get like two of them take care of the children, the rest go to like do the menial jobs like washing clothes, which I say they earn like $2 per day. And that $2 will buy food and will buy medication. It is a need. And it only needs the people who are, you have lived it and you understand it. My son has taken medication. I used to pick medication for my son and take to these women, and my husband would be, how comes medication is finishing in the house? But then what else could I do? The only thing I could do is just share that which I have. Yes.
Wow. I hope someone watching us could step in and fill the gap, because it's such a need, really. We need to help each other. Yeah, and I love where you mentioned that be the change that you want to see. We have seen those cultural issues actually, or beliefs, like you just mentioned, men leaving their wives because the child is disabled, a community thinking that you've sacrificed your child and all that. So, what change do you want to see really in terms of really changing that mindset? Because I don't think people should be treating each other that way.
Um, my desire is to see a society that embraces each and every one of us, whether you have a disability or not. I'm lucky my husband did not leave me. And my prayer is that we can have, people with a bit more of a human heart. Just to know, if you get a child, it is a gift. The child can be, okay or not. So that is my heart. That's where my heart goes. That we don't see women left by their husbands just because they got a child and it's blamed on them. It becomes the blame. So this woman already, as a challenge, you are having a child with a disability, and then again there is rejection. You get to a point where it's like you don't have the desire to live. Yes, so that would be that's where my heart is, to see a society that embraces each and every person, regardless of how they look, regardless of of who they are, because we are all human beings. We deserve
Yeah.
to be treated with dignity. They deserve dignity, like each and every one of us.
Yeah, sorry, you just mentioned that you reach at a point where you feel like you don't desire to live. So, what gave Esther strength to really not give up on herself because of that situation, while other people feel like, no, I can't go on? What gave you that inner strength that you said, no matter what, I have to still love my child. I have to still do what I'm doing. I still have to support even those. Esther, you're on mute.
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yes. I think for me, growing up, my son growing up, I've loved him. And I said I would give up the world for my son. I'll change the world for him, but I will not change him for the world.
Mm,
I cannot change who he is so that I can be, I can be accepted. No, that is him. And I said he's a handsome young man. And so I think for me, when he was young, of course, there were those frustrations. You would feel bad, and of course, you will see even people's body language. Body language when you are with him. So some of the things you don't need to be told. But I think God just gave me the grace. Yes, to embrace that which He had blessed me with, and I am here, 21 years later, still going strong, and watching him grow, and just enjoying the journey, and being there for other brothers, and
yeah.
encouraging them and telling them that their children will grow. And, the story will change because at times I say, if I didn't have him, I wouldn't be doing what we are doing with the special needs children.
Mm, mm.
Yes, yes.
That's right, yeah. But what kind of like advice have you got to tell those still discriminating and calling names really to mothers or those children feeling that they don't have a place in the society. Yet we are all here, we are all humans, and we're here for different reasons that we are here. We have to live together. But yeah, no one deserves to be discriminated, obviously. But what can you advise someone who is still with that mentality, thinking that disability is a taboo?
I think I'll tell them that it can happen to anybody. Disability happens even to people who are okay and normal. It could be a car accident. It could be anything. So it can happen to anyone. It could be your sister. It could be your brother. It could be your child, your grandchild. It can happen to anybody. So the thing is, we just have to love and appreciate everyone. Yes.
So what about a mother? I would say a mother, even fathers, maybe with a child with a disability, but it all the time goes to mothers, especially when it comes to African communities. This parent having a disabled child and almost giving up. What do you have to tell them?
My encouragement, I will tell them that it's not by choice that they have these children. We are given the children by God. We do not choose. You know, it's not like shoes that you will go to the shop and say, I want this pair of shoes, or it's not a dress that you say, I want this dress. No. None of us chooses how they will be born like. The same thing, none of us chooses where we will be born. So all I can tell them is accept that which God has blessed you with. Embrace it and love that child, because nobody will love that child on your behalf. Love that child, stand for them. Do not please people at the expense of your child. Be yourself and appreciate the gift because it is yours. It's a blessing, actually. We are blessed because God knew that you could handle a special child if He gave you a special child and did not give another person. It's strength. So if God has given you that, just know that He knew you can handle it and you are special before God. That's why He chose you. And this is to the fathers and mothers of children living with disabilities, or what we call the special needs children. It could be autism, it could be cerebral palsy, it could be any other condition, whether it's intellectual disabilities. Appreciate them. Whether your child tops in class or is last, appreciate them. They have other strengths. We all cannot be doctors and pilots, but there's something in us. There's a gift in each and every one of us that God has gifted us with. These children, they are full of love. They are just beautiful in their hearts. So my word to the parents this evening, parents of special needs, is love on your children. Love and accept them. When you accept them, the society will accept them. It has to start also from us. I love my son. So if I do, nobody will try to discriminate because I'm not doing it. Yes, thank you.
Amazing, amazing. So how can one step in again? You mentioned about the gap that need to be filled in terms of the facilities needed and all that. But how can you be reached out? How can this organization be reached out? If someone out there would like to support, how can someone find you, and how can they bring their funds to you if they have any?
I will share my email and my details. We are in Nairobi, Kenya. It's a registered non-governmental organization, and we will just share the details at the end of the show.
Right.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Esther. It's been a pleasure having you here on Inspire, and thank you so much for inspiring us with everything that you're doing and how you are making a difference in the community with people around you. And yeah, God bless you so much. I hope to see you again next time.
Thank you. Thank you. I am so honored. I really appreciate Emertha for just the invitation to be here on Inspire. I am really, really grateful and humbled for the opportunity. And thank you. God bless you too.
Bless you. Okay, see you next time.